Hello, my name is Lucas Bustamante. I'm a WordPress developer for 8 years now and PHP developer for around 10 years. I'm gonna teach you about WordPress performance today in a very objective way. Okay, I've been dealing with this for a long time, and if you stick with me until the end of this video, I guarantee you will be able to improve the performance of your WordPress website. Okay, so let's go. I have here in my screen a presentation I gave on a WordPress conference about performance. It was a conference here in Brazil. I am Brazilian, so these slides are in Portuguese, but I'm gonna explain them so you don't need to worry. Okay, let's see. This is me. I'm a PHP, full stack, blah, blah, blah. Let's go. WordPress, performance. I'm gonna skip these slides. Here, we're gonna aim for a 2-second mark to load your website, okay? So, before we talk about WordPress performance, you need to understand the difference between backend and front end, okay? So, it's the two huge performance words that you have to understand. You can't improve your WordPress performance if you don't understand the difference between those. Okay, let's go. So backend are languages that are processed in the server. Okay, example PHP. If you use Google Chrome, when you enter a website, you will see that there is this gray circle spinning to the right, which indicates that the browser is waiting for a response from the server. Okay? When the circle turns blue, spinning to the left, it means that the browser is receiving a response from the server. Okay, let's see that in action. I'm gonna enter, let me see. I need example website. WordPress website. Look at my website. You see, it was considerably fast. Look, especially the server part, it's almost instant. Okay, and there are some websites over there that it takes like 10-15 seconds for the server to respond. So I'm gonna explain to you how to solve this. Okay, if your website's not as fast as this is WordPress, by the way, you're gonna understand why and how. Okay, so this might sound a little technical, but this gray stuff is like this. Let me get you another tab here. Network traffic, HTTP images. Okay, this one should do it. So what happens when the circle is gray? Your computer, you type it, the address of the site, hit enter. That address goes to your router, that goes to your internet company, that goes through the internet infrastructure or worldwide. So it's like you have the DNS backbones and stuff like that. It's the internet infrastructure. So it travels through all this internet infrastructure, gets to the server where your site is hosted, and your site receives the request, and it says, so Lucas wants to see the homepage of the site. So it loads WordPress, loads all the data from the database, assemble the homepage, and send it back to Lucas. Okay, so this is the gray circle going to the server, processing my request, and the blue is when the request being sent from the server to me, and I say, look, the server got me my response, so I have to get this, and this, and that, and it shows you the homepage. So let's continue. Um, in WordPress, there are three huge subsystems that take up that can slow down your back end processing. Okay, when the server receives the request and has to assemble the homepage, there's three things that can slow it down. Core, which is WordPress itself, plugins, which is most of the time the culprit for performance issues, and themes. Okay, the core does not take very long to load. It's the problem usually is with plugins and themes. Okay, I have here a microtime debug to debug themes. It's a very technical thing, so if you don't know PHP very much, you can skip this, but I will explain it anyway. To debug the theme performance, you go to functions.php and add like a initial is start in Portuguese. You can name it whatever you want. So start equals microtime true, and then at the end, and all your code here, and then at the end another microtime true. What this microtime true does is it saves that millisecond time when that variable was stored. So this was stored at millisecond X. This was stored at millisecond Y. And then we just subtract the two to see how long it took for the computer to run what's in the middle. Okay? So that way you can debug how long your theme takes to load. And if it's taking too much, you can just move these variables around to see where the problem is. Okay, it's very useful. So let's continue. To debug the plugin performance, you might want to use the plugin performance profile plugin by GoDaddy. It's a plugin that will scan your website and tell you exactly how much time each plugin is taking to load. So you see, this SEO Ultimate, it's taking almost half of the time, and I don't even use it very much. So I can just delete it and improve my performance just like that. Okay, so you can use that, but nothing compares to Cache. Cache is a must. If you don't use Cache, you really should. I'm gonna explain in a very simple and direct way how it works, and you see why you need it. Okay, it's very simple. So stick with me on this one. Okay, don't lose focus. This is WordPress load without cache. First it gets to index.php, and then it loads a bunch of stuff and loads plugins, loads the theme, loads everything, does a lot of other stuff, and then gets back to the response to Lucas. Okay, so it has to load all the plugins, load a trillion carries on the database. It's like we can estimate around 300 carries for each request. So if I access and I don't know, Joseph access and Marina access, it's like the server is simply overwhelmed. That's why you have performance issues, because the server has to assemble the homepage every time. Each time someone's navigating your site, it's very heavy for the server. Okay, here it is, the load scheme with cache. Don't mind this, it's in Portuguese, just stick with me, okay? With cache, the visitor accessed. Does it have cache? Yes. So it loads just an static HTML page. Does it have cache? No. Then it loads the website normally in PHP as if there is no cache, and it generates a static HTML page for the next visitor. So instead of you assembling the home page every time for every client that you have, you say, look, there is a request for a home page from Lucas. Joseph and Marina are asking for that too. So instead of me doing 900 carries in the database to assemble 3 homes for them, I'm gonna assemble Lucas, and I have this home prepared, this home object that I'm gonna send him, and I can just replicate it to Marina and Joseph because it's the same thing, it's the same page. Okay? And there are some settings in the cache, like this home object that I generate, it will expire in 7 days. So after 7 days, when someone asks it, it's older than 7 days, so generate a new one and save this new object for another 7 days. So that's what cache expiring means. Okay, it's the best before date of the cache object. Okay, so can you see the power of this? To demonstrate scientifically, I have done a practical test. Here I have a blank WordPress, no plugin at all, and the 2017 theme, which is default. Just look at this. I have made a technical analysis without cache and with cache. Are you ready? So let's do it. Without cache, this is exactly what PHP does under the hood to load just the homepage of 2017 theme without plugin, without anything. Okay, so just look at this. It's an ocean of PHP code. Okay, so it was precisely 1241 different functions called in 1.3 seconds. Okay, 1.3 seconds. This. Now let's see the same page, same thing, but with cache. Just like that. Just like that. You see 191 different functions called in 74 milliseconds. Why? Because I have the home object ready, so I can just send it. I don't have to run 1,000 carries in the database. I don't have to run server processing, CPU, memory. I don't have to do all of that. So you save your client's time, you save your server resources, and it's just like that. It's a must. So let's continue here. I have made a. I'm gonna skip this slide. So, how to install it? How to use it? You can use Comet Cache, which is my personal favorite. I always use it. It's just works out of the box. I have used double tree total cache, double p fastest cache, and double p super cache, but honestly, I didn't have very good experiences with these. Every time I install these, my site breaks or something like that. With Commit Cache, I never had any problem. I use it in all my clients' websites for as long as I can remember, and it always works out of the box. It's incredible. You install it, activate, save, and there you have it. You have cache enabled out of the box because they have all these pre-configured settings that just works, man. And just a side note, I am not affiliated with Commit Cache. I have nothing to do with it. I just like the plugin because it's good. Okay, there you have it. You have just improved your backend performance, right? So the next thing is when the server sends the packet to Lucas again. Okay, and now Lucas has to receive that packet that was already optimized by the server through cache and everything. Okay, so the cache had no trouble sending it to me. Now I have to download home. That is front end performance. Front end. Okay, so I suggest you pause the video, go grab a coffee, think about backend, and then when you're ready, proceed to front end. I'm gonna do it right now. So front end performance is everything the server sends to the visitor, which consists basically of HTML code, JavaScript, CSS, and images. So, images, practical example. Let's get an image. It can be this one. No, it's too small. Can be this one then. Okay, I'm gonna save it to my computer. And open it with Fireworks. You can edit it with Photoshop as well or anything. Most programs do this. C. The first thing that you want to do with images is to resize it to, I would say, the max of 101920. So, because you don't need larger images than that in the web. So, but the real thing here, what I want to say about images is this. Look, I can save it as a PNG, and it's gonna have 4.2 megabytes. 4.2 megabytes. I can also save it. Look, I'm gonna split the screen here. I can also save it as JPEG with a quality of, let's say, 60. No, 60, it has a little loss in quality. Let's increase it to 75. Okay, 75. So the thing here is this image is 4.2 megabytes. This one is 450K. It's almost 10 times less. The same image, not very much. You don't have a large quality drop here. It's good. So you can just save it, and there you have it. You have an image that is 10 times smaller than the original one. So that's how you optimize images. That and the dimension. You have to be careful about the dimension of the image and about the quality of the image. I have just treated the quality here and I resized it as well. Okay, let's move forward. CSS, JavaScript, HTML. Um, let's go. This is before merge minify refresh. It's a plugin. I have all these CSS files and all these JavaScript files loading. Okay, so Lucas receives the home object. The home object says, bro, you're gonna need all the CSS files, all these JavaScript files. And then Lucas has to download all the CSS files and all the JS files. So it's a lot of requests. Okay. For each CSS, my browser has to fetch the CSS from the server as a separate resource. Okay. What merge minify refresh does is it just assembles all files on the server in a single file. This is good, but it can break your site, so use it with caution, because what happens sometimes is that these files, they have an expiry date as well, so sometimes they expire and change, and the cache on the back end points to a expired resource, so it breaks. So this is something that you don't really have to do it, but if you really want, Commit Cache has this feature built into it, and it doesn't break. It's called auto resource compressor. It's in the settings. You have to take a look. And that leads us to another type of cache. I know this is a lot of information. I'm really, really sorry for spitting out this much of information, but this is a complex subject, so there's no way. Let's do something big here. I'm not sure if you are familiar with gtmetrics.com. It's a front end performance analyzer. Okay, I want to show you a couple of things here that are very, very important as well. Come on, fetch the site, bitch. Analyze it with Wiselow. Okay, so as you can see, I know why it's that. It's because of my GIFs. I'm sorry, but I really like this effect. So I have this for my portfolio, which is super heavy, but I say, well, fuck it. I like this effect, and I know it's not gonna be performance wise, but who cares? Because I don't know. I like the effect, so I have it. And it slows my site down. But let's see what I want to talk about it here. That's very, very important is a couple of the settings. First, leverage browser caching. Browser caching, it's this following. Stick with me. Lucas received the home object. I have all the CSS and JavaScript files to get. I get all the CSS files and JavaScript. Then I go and navigate to the About page, which uses basically the same CSS and JavaScript files. If I have browser cache enabled, I don't have to download the CSS and JavaScripts again from the server. I'm gonna have a local copy stored in my browser, and when I access home, it will download from disk. That means it will have a saved copy in the computer, so we don't have to go to the server and fetch all the CSS files again. This is a setting that is configure it in the server on the HT access. So here it says, look, image can be stored for a year, CSS files a month. So that's exactly what it means. It's important to have this on your server, okay? So you can improve your front end performance. Next thing is, what is it? Enable GZIP compression. GZIP compression is very good. What exactly does it do? It's very, 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 very simple. Let's take a look at this. If I have, let's see. Okay, let's copy this. It's a WordPress website. Okay, it's copying 2063 items, and okay, it was pretty fast actually. But let's first zip it and then copy it. It was instant. You see? I'm copying the same content a million times in a microsecond. So this is what gzip does. It zips the CSS files in a zip file and send it to me. And then I unzip it and I have the content. So I don't have to make a trillion requests. I receive just one zip. It's really important. And you access it in the HT access file as well. And another one, serve scaled image, it's important. And that's it. That's it. You have backend cache, backend performance improvements, front end with good image sizes, optimized images, GZIP, cache for the resources, which is this line. And where is it? I had to click it at that time. Which is this. So there you have it. You have a performant website just like that. Not a big deal. You just need to practice a little so it all comes natural. I do this configuration in my client site in like 10 minutes every time because I already know how to do it. I don't have to research and stuff. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, very important, and everyone should do it. Okay, thank you. Bye bye. Gonna close this now. Hope you have learned and could be of some use. Okay, bye bye.